Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is Maseches Taanis Daf Yud Aleph. We begin 3 lines from the top of the Amud. Says the Gemara, Omar Rabbi Yehuda Omar Rab, Kol HaMar'iv Atzmai B'Shnei Ra'avin. It's a time of Ra'avin, of hunger, famine. This individual happens to have enough food for himself, but he chooses to restrict his food intake, to be mishtatev, to participate in the Tsa'ar Harabim, to empathize with the tzibur, with the public in their plight. What is his schar? Nitzoil mimisa mishuna. He will be saved from an unconventional death. Explains Rashi, off to the right. Misa mishuna means meis becherev uberov v'chol misa she'ene b'dei malach hamaves kederech kol adam al bitosei. This fellow will be spared an unconventional experience. Rather, he will experience misa like everybody else. He chose to attach himself to the klal, to the public, part of the klal. Therefore, he will be spared anything unconventional. Continues the Gemara, Shenemar. The pasuk says, "B'ra'av padcha mimavis." Hashem saved you. B'ra'av mimavis. What does this mean? It can't mean Hashem saved you from hunger. Otherwise, me'ra'av mibayle. Pasuk would say, me'ra'av padcha. Hashem saved you from hunger, spared you hunger. Elachika Amar. Rather, the pasuk means b'ra'av, during a time of famine, when you behaved appropriately. You were part of the klal. Therefore, padcha mimavis. Hashem spared you from an unconventional misa. Because you were mar'iv yourself. You limited your food intake. You starved in times of ra'avin. He'll be saved from misa mishuna. There was a story with Aaron Cutler. During the war years, they got word that there was some Jewish boys trapped in Italy, and Rabbi Aaron Cutler found out that perhaps through pulling some strings in the mafia, they can save the boys. And he got an appointment with a mafia ringleader in New York, and he asked him to be of assistance. And this fellow came through. Within a short time, the boys were released and saved. And this Italian guy turned to Rabbi Aaron Cutler. Rabbi, give me a blessing. Rabbi Aaron thought for a moment, and he says, "You should die on your bed." And the guy was so impressed. He says, "Rabbi, that's a real good blessing. In my line of business, dying a conventional death of old age in your bed, that's something unusual. That's truly a privilege." And the end of the story was that years later, his children or descendants came to Lakewood Yeshiva to speak to the Rosh Yeshiva, and they told him that's exactly what happened. It was something extraordinary. Their father lived until old age, and he passed away conventionally. So that was the bracha that Rabbi Aaron Kotler gave him. Continues the Gemara, Amar Shlakish. In similar vein, we just learned you have to be mishtatif with the Tsar Harabim. You can't just ignore what's going on. Tashmish Shamita is off limits during Shnei Ra'avin, during times of hunger, Shenemar. We find this in a pasuk. Yosef Yulad Shnei Banim. Yosef had 2 sons, Ephraim and Menashe. When were they born? B'terem Tavosh Nasara, before the years of hunger arrived. Apparently, and I meant to be engaged in this experience during times of hunger. The Farshim say this is of building the world, creating, and when the world is experiencing Ra'av, it's just the opposite is happening, and therefore 2 things are incompatible. However, Tana, we learned in the Brisa, Chasuche Bonim, those who don't yet have children, do engage in Tashmish during times of Ra'avain to be Mekayim the mitzvah Puravu. This says a kasha. Yecheved was born in Mitzrayim. It was a time of Ra'av. How could that be? So Taisa says the truth is that in both cases, in Yecheved's case, her father had not yet been mekayim the mitzvah properly. A son and a daughter is the kiyum of pru revu. And likewise, in the case of Yosef HaTzadik, it was still pre-kiyum ha-mitzvah. So, min hadin, it's mutter, as we just said. Chasuche bonim, do go ahead. But Yosef was noig atzma bechasidus. He was extra careful, extra machmer. And therefore he refrained. But technically speaking, it was mutter in that case. And therefore Yecheved was certainly okay to be noilad even in Mitzrayim. Says the Mortanu Rabbanim, we learned on the Bryce. Bizman she Yisrael shururiyin betzar. When Klal Yisrael is experiencing distress, upirish echad man. One fellow decides, I'm doing my own thing, ignoring what's going on. Every person has two malachim escorting him, one to the right, one to the left. Rashi brings the pasuk, Ki malachav yitzavalach, shmocha b'chad rochecha. One is the good malach, one is the bad malach. Some explain one is the Yetzer Toiv, one is the Yetzer Hara. Others explain a person's actions create the malach to the right, the good one, and negative actions create the malach to the left, the bad one. Perhaps it's all really connected. A person's masim reinforce the Yetzer Toiv and the Yetzer Hara respectively, and those are the forces that accompany a person. Those are the two malachim that we speak about Friday night. Apparently they're always following the person. It's just that Friday night they make that declaration. When they come home, they say, well, if it's nicely set up, the malach toiv praises and the malach ra says amen. It should be the same in the future. And in a case where it's not really set up properly, the opposite happens. In any case, those two malachim who are always at a person's side, they come along, umanichan lo yadein al roishay. They place their hands on his head, and they say, this fellow who separated himself from the tzibur, disregarded the plight of the tzibur, he's not being mishtatev, he's not doing tshuva, he's not being distressed with the tzibur. He should not be zoicha to see the nechama, the salvation of the tzibur. He's not part of the tzibur. Tani idach, we have another bryce. When the tzibur is experiencing tsar, Al yomer adam elech lebeisi va'echel ve'eshte v'shalav alei nafshi. A person should never say, well, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm not part of the tzara, I'll go home, va'echel ve'eshte v'shalav alecha nafshi. I'll eat and drink, have a good time. If he indeed does that, Olav HaKasav Omer, the pasuk describes him as follows. V'nei sasen v'simcha. They're celebrating in a time of tzara. Haroik bakar, slaughtering animals, echel basar, having meat, drinking wine. Let's chaparine, eat and drink, capture the moment. We know there's a tsar going on here. They know there's a tsar. You know that there's an einish coming. Disregard it. Have a good time. Maksiv basrei. What does the pasuk say afterwards? Hashem is displeased. V'nigle ba'ozni Hashem tzivakos. This will be known to Hashem. Im yuchupar ha'oven hazeh lachem atamusim. Not going to have kapara for this. Don't disregard what's happening. Take part. Be mishtatev in the tsar, and the tshuva, and the kapara, and you'll see the nechama. Ad kan midas beinanim. These are beinani people. Not so terrible, because you see they're aware of what's going on, and they're cognizant of the fact that there's a tzara coming, perhaps, but they don't want to trouble themselves. They want to capture the moment, have fun while it lasts. But there are people who are actually Rishaim. In that case, they totally disregard the oncoming tzara. They're oblivious to the signs from Hashem. What does the pasuk say? How does the pasuk describe them? Maksiv. Bring over some wine. V'nizba sheikher, we'll get drunk with old wine. We'll party today, we'll party tomorrow. Everything's great. Totally oblivious to the fact that there's a tsar in the world and perhaps an einish coming. Maksiv basrei. Pasuk follows up by saying, Hatzadik ovet. Look, the tzaddik was taken away. Ve'ein ish samalev. Nobody's paying attention. Ki mipnei hara ne'asav tzaddik. Perhaps the tzaddik was removed because there's a ra coming up. Hashem doesn't want the tzaddik to experience the ra. Or another pshat in Rashi, Hashem removes the tzaddik so he doesn't daven, that the ra'ah doesn't come. They're not paying attention, these people. They're just partying and partying, not expecting any change, not expecting any einush. Rather, the correct way is not like the Rishonim, not even like the Beinanim, who are aware but ignoring. No, rather, alid tzair adam in atzibur. We would start with the tzibur. We find by Moshe Rabbeinu shetzir atzmei min atzibur. He took part in the tsar of the tzibur during the Milchamas Amalek. So he had his hands up, raised up, so that Klal Yisrael could gaze at them and reinforce their emunah. That gave him strength to battle Amalek. But then his hands got tired. Shnemar v'idei Moshe kvedim. He needed some support. Vayikchu even, vayisimu tachta, vayeshiv aleha. He brought a stone and he sat down on it. This way, when in a sitting position, the two people who were standing next to him, Aaron and Hur, could hold his hands up. He lowers down, and this way they can lift his hands up and hold it for him. Why was he sitting on a stone? You think Moshe didn't have a pillow or a mattress to sit on? Why on a stone? He wanted to experience the tsar of Yisrael. Since I see Yisrael are experiencing distress, right in the middle of a war, I'll be mishtatev. I'll be part of that tsar as well. I'll sit on a stone and be in discomfort. In fact, if a person is mitzar himself when the tzibur is mitzar, he will be zeich eventually to experience the nechama, the good times when they come. Perhaps a person could say, well, I'm in private. Who sees? Who's going to testify that I'm eating and drinking, having a good time? The stone, the bricks of his home, his base and his beams. They will testify. Perhaps this is a mashal. You're not in private. It's revealed to the stones and the walls. And likewise, it will be revealed eventually for all to see. Shnemar ki even meikir tizak. A stone will call out from the wall. Ukfitz me'etzi anena. A half brick will call out from between the rows of wood. Tvidei b'shila amri. Who's going to testify? Shnei malachi hasharis. Those two malachim, hamalav and adam, which accompany a person, hey meidin olav, they will testify against him. Shnemar ki malacha v'tzavlach. His own neshama will testify. You can't deny reality. Watch what you speak. There's a neshama that's present. The one inside you. His own Avarim will testify. Hashem turns to Israel. You are my witnesses. You will testify as to what you yourself did. The pasuk says, "Keil emuna ve'in aval." So on the topic of schar and einish, let's go to the pasuk which speaks about Hashem being emuna, keil emuna, Hashem of trust, ve'in aval. There's nothing crooked, nothing unfair there. What does this mean? Keil emuna means geshem shenefroim and erishoim lo'elam haba, afilu al avera kalashois. Just as we know that there's an einish coming to a Rasha in a Ilam Haba, even for a slight offense. Any avera kala gets counted. Likewise, don't think a tzaddik is different. He doesn't get away. Kach nefroim min tzaddikim el mazeh. Likewise, tzaddikim get their einish, although in this world, right, they get special bonus. They get taken care of in this world, where the einish is way less severe. But in any case, Hashem addresses their wrongdoings as well. Even on a small avera. Nothing gets ignored. That's Keil Amuna. Hashem keeps track. Hashem is honest. And the words Ve'in Aval means that Hashem pays a person what's coming to him, even in Russia. Just as Hashem gives schar to tzaddikim l'olam haba, afilu al mitzvah kala sho'isen, even for a small mitzvah that he did. Kach mesham and schar l'rishayim b'olam hazeh, Afilu al mitzvah kala sha'osin. Likewise, Hashem gives schar even to a rasha for a slight, small mitzvah that he did. But in this case, it's only l'olam hazeh. Now you'll ask, where's the fairness? When it comes to the tzaddik, he gets his einish in this world and his schar in the next world. It comes to rasha, the opposite happens. He gets his schar in this world, gets all paid up. Comes to Elam Haba, all he has is averis. So the Farshim seek to explain the equation here, how it's really fair, because the rasha is not really deserving of Elam Haba. He's a rasha. He's saturated with ra. He doesn't get the privilege of really experiencing Elam Haba. Not only that, he wants Elam Haza. That's his true quest. You get what you asked for. You get what you ordered. So therefore, he gets his schar by Elam Haza. It gets used up. Unfortunately, it comes to Elam Haba, there's nothing left. All he has is averis. By the tzaddik, his quest is spirituality, eternity. So although he has some debts to pay, Hashem takes care of it in this world. He's deserving of Elam Haba, and he doesn't want to use up his mitzvahs in this fleeting, unworthy world. But the bottom line is, everything a person does, l'tov v'l'ra, gets accounted for. Pasuk continues, tzaddik v'yashar hu. What does this mean? Amro b'shas p'tirasa shel adam beis olamai. At the time of p'tira, a person goes lebeis olamai to go visit his personal olam haba. At that point, kol ma'asav nifratin lefanav. All his deeds, all his masim are itemized, are listed to him. V'ayim lai, and they tell him, kach v'kach asisim makam plani. This and this you did in this place. B'yayin plani, on that day. V'ayim hin. He shakes his head, yeah, sure. V'ayim lai chasayim, they say, sign on a dotted line. V'chayim many signs. Shenamar b'yad kol dem yachsayim. That's a person's personal signature. Not only does he grudgingly go along with it, he justifies the din. And he tells the Bezdin, you know what? You did right. You're just in your verdict. In fulfillment of the pasuk, when they tell a person, look, this is what you did, he says, yeah, titzdak. Everything is just, everything is righteous, everything is emes. No denying. Continues the Gemara. Amar Shmuel, Kal hayoshev b'Taanis nikra choyte. If a person is engaged in constant fasting, he's considered a sinner. Not meant to deprive yourself unnecessarily. Sara ki haitana. This is in accordance with the following shita, the Sanya. Rabbi Yehuda Kappa Buribi. Rabbi Yehuda Kappa, who was Buribi, the God Lahador, Oymer, he would say as follows: Ma tamar lema. How do you understand the pasuk by the Nazir, who refrained from drinking wine, etc., for 30 days? Then he happened to get tamei. He brings karbanos, and the pasuk says, "V'chipur olav me'asher chata ala nefesh." By way of his karbanos, he's going to atone for his chet ala nefesh. It sounds like he killed somebody. What did he do wrong? He killed somebody. He's just a Nazir. He's trying to be good. Ella, you know what the chet is? He deprived himself. Shetzir atzma min hayayin. He deprived himself of wine. And therefore, says the Gemara, you can derive a kavachemer from here. If we find that just depriving oneself from wine, from drinking wine, just one thing, he already deserves the title chayte. Look, Hashem made a beautiful world. Go enjoy it. Don't overindulge. But enjoy the world. Don't live in deprivation. He's called a chayte. Certainly, if he fasts, hamitzar atzim kol davar v'davar, he deprives himself of all food and drink. He fasts. Alachas kama makama. Certainly, he's called a chayte, and that's the makor of Shmuel. Kol hayoshev b'Taanis nikra chayte. Releza Omer, he goes the other way around. Releza holds nikra kaddish. He's called a holy person. Abstains from gashmis. What better can you have than that? Shenemar kodeshi gadol pera sa'roishay. Again, back to the Nazir. Kodeshi gadol pera sa'roishay. The pasuk is referring to him as a kodesh, even though he barely refrained. He was just off of wine. That's all. He's already called kodesh. Since we find this fellow, he really merely restricted himself just barely from one thing. Nikra Kaddish, he's already called Kaddish. Certainly, I'm Mitzar Atzmim called over. He's Mitzar himself, refrains. All food and drink, he fasts. Allah has kama v'kama, certainly he's called a Kaddish. So according to Shmuel, he's called a Chayte. According to Blazer, he's called a Kaddish. Ulu Shmuel, what does Shmuel do with this pasuk? Ha'ikri Kaddish. Pasuk says Kaddish, yeah. Apparently he is a Kaddish. It's something we do recommend. Hahu agidul perakoi. The pasuk is not speaking about the person. He's a Chayte. Kaddish ye gadol pera saroshi. His hair, the long hair of the Nazir, that has kedusha and is asabana. Ular Bleza, what does Bleza do with the other pasuk? Shmuel's pasuk, Harnikra Chayte. Pasuk calls him a Chayte. How can you say that a person who fasts is called a Kaddish? Hahu desayev nafshi. That pasuk that calls him a Chayte, bechiper olav masher chata al nefesh, is speaking about a Nazir who wasn't careful. He was meant to keep away from a mace, and he touched the mace, it became tummy. That's why he called a Chayte. But typically speaking, just a conventional Nazir, or a person who fasts, is called a Kaddish, not a Chayte. Umi Amar Belezer Hachi. Is that so that according to Belezer, a faster is called a Kaddish? For Amar Belezer, Belezer himself tells us, don't fast. Lo'ilam Yamud Adam Atzme. A person should evaluate himself, should treat himself, should regard himself. Ki'ilu Kaddish Sharoi B'seich Meyav. Shenemar Bekir B'cha Kaddish V'lo Ya'ava B'yer. Let's go to Rashi on top. Ki'ilu Kaddish Sharoi B'seich Meyav. Says Rashi, Ki'ilu Kol Meyav. His me'ayim, his intestines, his digestive system, his stomach is Kaddish. V'aslak Chishan, it's something holy. You don't tamper with something holy. Dachi Mashma. As the pasuk says, Bekir B'cha Kaddish, Kalayim B'asal is Anis. Bekir B'cha Kaddish, your stomach has kedusha. Taisa says, Kilu Kaddish HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shara B'Seich Meir. It's like Hashem is dwelling within you. Vasa like Chishan. You can't weaken yourself. Hashem gives you a world, gives you a body, sustain it, keep it healthy. Zakar Blez himself say fasting is something positive. Answers the Gemara. Lakasha, the answer is depends. Depends on how strong the person is. Ha de matzi tzuri nafshi. If a fellow can tolerate a fast day, can function even when fasting, then Rabbi Yehuda considers him a Kaddish. Ha, the other pasuk that discourages fasting is the loy matzi tzuri nafshi. A fellow who can't tolerate it. He's totally off track. He loses himself. He can't. He can't handle fasting. In this case, keep away. Rish Lakish Amar Nikra Chassid. If a person can handle a fast, he's more than a Kaddish. He's actually a Chassid. Higher than that. Shenamar Goyim Nafshi Ish Chassid. Rashi says Goyim Nafshi is like Higomeles Yitzchak. Stoppage, refraining, keeping away, separation. So his Goyim Nafshi means his nefesh is kept away from food and drink. Ish Chassid, Ish Chesed is called a Ish Chesed. Va'oicher she'eroi achsor. If he's Eicher she'eroi means he's weakening himself. He can't handle it. Then achzori, of course, being an achsor, it's something he shouldn't do. So all agree that if it's loy motzi l'tzur nafshi, if you can't handle the situation, it's overwhelming, it's too weak to really fast, then of course you shouldn't engage in it. But otherwise, if you can handle it, we have three shittas. According to Shmuel, don't do it. Hashem doesn't want people to pain themselves and sit in a Taanis. Give you a world, enjoy it. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's called a Kaddish. According to Rish Lakish, Nikra Chassid. Now, B'zman Hazeh, the Paiskim write that the Duris are weaker. Our bodies can't really handle fasting. Could barely fast, and the fast days are meant to fast on. Therefore, B'zman Hazeh were considered loy matzi tzurei nafshi. So typically, not something recommended. Rav Sheshes. Hai bar be Rav, a Talmud of the yeshiva, the Yosef Tanisa, who chooses to fast, leichol kalba l'sherusei. It's worthless. It's as though a dog ate up his food. He doesn't really get much credit for fasting because he's weakening himself. He's not going to learn. And some Farshim say it's speaking, even if he could handle it. The fact is, it weakens him it diminishes his concentration, and it's Yotza Schore Be'efseda, he loses more than he gains. Amar Rabbi Yimra Ba'aba, in an unrelated halacha, Ein Taanis Tzibur Be'Bavel. In Bavel, Taisus explains, they had Harbe Gesham, abundance of rain, as we learned before. So the situation wasn't so desperate, even if there was a Taanis, but it doesn't have the same severity as a typical Taanis Tzibur, where you refrain from wearing shoes, etc. So it doesn't have that same level of severity. Ela Tisha B'Av Elvad, one exception is Tisha B'Av, where we have many, many restrictions. Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba Omer Shlokish, Ein Talmud Chacham Rashoy Leisha B'Tanis. A Talmud Chacham may not engage in unnecessary fasting, for the same reason that we mentioned earlier, it's going to take away from his ability to engage in learning, in heavenly work that he's meant to be involved in, intellectual work, learning and teaching, and fasting is not conducive to that. Therefore, even if he could physically handle it, we discourage it. Continues the Gemara. So typically, a fast day begins in the morning. All throughout the night you can eat. A fast day begins in the morning. Omar of Ze'ira, Omar of Huna. Here comes a chiddush. Yochid shekibel olav tanis. A person was makabel. He committed to fast. Afilu ochel v'shasa kol halayla. Even if he ate and drank a whole night, the entire night, he's eating and drinking. That's okay. It doesn't interfere with the tanis. L'macharu mispalot tfilas tanis. Tomorrow is considered a tanis, which includes tfilas tanis anenu. It's a bona fide yom tanis, because tanis begins at daybreak. Likewise, lon b'tanis soy einu mispalol shel tanis. Suppose he fasted. Right? He had a Kabbalah to fast tomorrow. He committed to fast, and he took a nap in the afternoon and slept through the night. Lon b'tanis soy. So he extended his fast day into the following night. That's not what he had in mind, but circumstantially that's what happened. Come the next morning, he wants to say Aleinu in his tefillah. He's still fasting. Einu mispal shel tanis. Doesn't work. Oh, why not? Omer Rav Yosef, Maika Sava Rav Huna. What's the pshat? What's the explanation? What does Rav Huna hold? Svirle ein masanan l'shois. Is it because he holds that a person cannot establish a part day fast day, such as in this case where he's about to eat? He's just postponing his breakfast a little bit. That's called Taanis l'shois. Taanis has to be a 24-hour unit, or at least from morning to night. But just skipping breakfast doesn't really count, such as in this case. Or yesterday was a full fast day, but the fact is he's just pushing off the next day's breakfast. That doesn't really count as a Taanis and does not qualify, doesn't allow Tfilas Haneinu. Or perhaps Misanan L'shois. Technically, you could make it partial a fast day, but Misanan L'shois ain't a Mispal Tfilas Taanis. Problem is that a Taanis Shois, a partial fast day, doesn't really have the same weight and value as your typical fast day, and the Tfilas Taanis, special insert in the Shemona Esrei, Anenu b'yom tzoyim Taanis, relates to a day of fasting. But if it's only Taanis Shois, such as part of the night, such as the full night, such as just the part of the day, a Taanis Shois, it's not called Yoim Taanis. It doesn't allow the Anenu to be said. So which one is it? Again, Rav Huna spoke about two halachas. Firstly, that the night before the Taanis, a person can eat and drink freely. Taanis only begins in the morning. Number two, if you fasted today and you slept through the night following the Taanis, come next morning, he had not yet eaten since the Taanis. He wants to push off breakfast a bit and still consider that to be the Taanis and say Tfilas Haneinu. He can't do that. The question is why? Why? He's still fasting. It's still an extension of yesterday's fasting. Is it because, in fact, he's about to eat? It's only a partial fasting. Or, really, a Taanis L'shois works, but it doesn't allow Tfilas Haneinu. Normally, Abai responds to Rav Yosef. Truthfully speaking, you can make a partial fast day. It's considered a Taanis. Taanis. And likewise, if a person experiences a Taanis shoys, you can say Anenu. So why is this different? Some take out these words. This fellow never committed himself to extend this Taanis into the following day. It was just by way of circumstance. He happened to sleep through the night. Come next morning, he's still fasting. He was never mekabel in order for it to be established as a Yom Taanis. Even a Taanis shows works. A partial fast day works, but he has to accept it upon himself. He has to be mekabel in advance. I'm designating tomorrow or part day tomorrow as a Taanis. It's like a carbon. You have to designate. You have to set it aside. Right? Taanis is like a It's like a carbon. The diminished, the chelev and dam due to fasting is like a carbon to Hashem. So it has to be set aside lichatchila in advance, as opposed to this case where he just happened to sleep through the night. It was not prepared in advance. The Yom Taanis just came on him, and therefore it was lacking Kabbalah. It doesn't have the chashivas of a Yom Taanis, and no anenu kamiset. Mar Ukva ikla Ginzak. Mar Ukva visited the town of Ginzak. They asked him three things. Firstly, Mesalan l'shois. Can a person establish a partial fast day? Or or perhaps it doesn't work. Well, you have a biyadai. He didn't have the answer. Next question. Kan kanan shal nachrim. What about these pitchers, these earthenware pitchers that the nachrim use for their yayin nesach? Asur or mutar? Is it always asur, or is there a way to use it perhaps by leaving it out to dry, where the moisture will just dry up and evaporate? Is there any way to use their kankanim? That was their question. Once again, he didn't have a response. Third question, unrelated. We know that during these 7 days of Miluim, in the Mishkan, in the Midbar, when the Kohanim were in training, who was in charge? Who brought the Karbanis? Moshe Rabbeinu. What was he wearing during those Shiva Simei Miluim? He couldn't wear Bigdei Kahuna, he wasn't a Kohen. He couldn't wear his own weekday clothing. It's not really appropriate. So what was it that he wore? Well, you have a biyadi. Once again, he didn't have a response. Ozal v'shol b'midrash, he came to the Beis Medrash and he asked around. Amrulay, they responded to all three questions. Firstly, hilchasa, misanan l'shois, u'mispal and tfilas Taanis. A person is mekabel a Taanis shois, it works. To the extent that you can say tfilas Taanis as long as you're fasting. Number two, vilchasa kankanim shal nachrim. Those kankanim, those containers of the goyim, la'achar shnei masar chodesh mutar. If you leave them out to dry 12 months, that's enough for it to fully dry up and lose any traces of yain nesach. And thirdly, b'ameh shimesh Moshe kol zayin yimei miluim. You know what he wore during the Shivas yimei miluim? B'cholak lavan. He did the karbanos using a white robe. Rashi says shal pishtan, made of flax. Rav Kahana Masni, Rav Kahana added the name of a brisa. B'cholak lavan she'en la imra. It was a white robe without any imra, without any hem on the bottom. So nobody suspects him of hiding any monies. Rashi brings a pasuk v'yisam nekiyim ma'ashem v'yisrael. He meant to make a good impression. Keep clean. Don't do anything that might arouse any suspicion. So it was a straight, flat robe without any hems. Okay, so what did we learn today? During a time of tzara, such as a time of ra'ava and a famine, that the tzibur is experiencing a tsar, a person is meant to take part in that experience. We learned the schar of a person who is mariv atzme b'shnei ra'avain. Isav tashan shamita, unless he has to be makayim pru'ravu. And generally speaking, every individual is meant to take part and be mashtativ in the tsar hatzibur. Everything a person does is revealed to Hashem. The malachim that accompany the person, it will be the Edom. His own home will testify. His own neshama is Yevarim. Pasuk says, Keile muna vein aval. Hashem is just, totally fair. Tzadik v'yasharhu. He gives einish to tzadikim when necessary. He gives schar to the rishoyim when they deserve it. What about being yoshev b'Taanis? Is it recommended? Well, loy matzi l'tzura nafshi. If you can't really handle it, then we totally discourage it. Otherwise, we have three shittas, ranging from chayte to kadesh to chassid. And we concluded with those three halachis. Firstly, Taanis shows if one is mekabel upon himself to fast only at night or part of the next day, Taanis shows is considered a legitimate Taanis, which deserves tfilas Taanis Yusei Anenu during that time as well. The kankanim shel nachem, those containers used for yain nesach, after 12 months, where they had a chance to dry up and evaporate, they can be used by the Yisrael, and Moshe Rabbeinu served wearing a cholok lavan during the Shiva Simei Miluim. All the best to you, and much hatzlacha.